Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right. I think we're good now. Just had to make sure I had the mic going. I think we're alone now. Okay. And there. All right. Let me see who was here first. JSC. Thank you so much for being here first. And Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for being here, Connie Balmer. Let's see. Rodney Jackson, Joy Amore. Thank you so much for being here. Joy Amore wants to say hi to a few people. Brenda Crane, Rodney Jackson, Elaine Parker. Happy birthday, Elaine Parker. Um, let's see, Kathy G. Tamara Waters, Maria uh, Latler. I hope I'm saying that right. Abby Rosemary, thank you for being here. Sharon Skinner. All right. And a host of friends, another. Hey, Hazel Jones, peace and joy. And thank you, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here. Church Nellie is here. All right. Church Nellie, did you ever finish that book you was reading in church? um, there was a slide looked just like you. There was a slide yesterday at the very beginning of some lady with this very well, it was an okay hat. Um, anyway, you came in a little late yesterday. I was wondering if you had actually seen it. Hold on. Okay. I wanted to grab my coffee. Hope y'all don't mind. Let's see. Is it daffodils? I love daffodils. One of my favorite flowers. Daffodils, geraniums. Um, what else? Marigolds. Every spring I have to put them out there. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be divine. Okay. Uh Mackenzie, thank you for being here. We better get started, huh? Joan Commonwealther, it's been too long. You know, I miss everybody from going on so late, although that tends to work better for me for reasons that shall remain personal. Um, but it always works better for me. Uh, Peretta JT, thank you for being here. Okay, let's get into it because I got a lot to cover. So much to cover. Happy Veterans Day. Uh, Happy Veterans Day. Now, some of the friends that I've had for some time, some are, I call them on Veterans Day because they have actually served in the military, male and female. And then there's a select few that I know have, shall we say, been around. And I call the, like, for instance, our our next first lady, our next first lady, um, well, let me stop. But I'll probably send her a card for Veterans Day. I'm a little late this year. Um, that's so bad, ain't it? I am in a silly mood though. Antoinette Kennedy, thank you so much for being here. Okay, now, what is this? Peace and Joy says, Baron, can I send you something to you at the address you post? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I am practically guaranteed to get it because that is a business address. So you don't have to worry about someone being there to receive it. But yes, please do that. I love surprises. So anyway, I neglected to call the next first lady for Veterans Day. Uh, you guys stop encouraging me. That is not nice. That is not very nice, especially after all we went through with this last election. Hey, Lydia Washington, thank you so much for being here. Um, yes, I have to put my game face on because I got a lot to cover. All right. Well, it is a day to remember. And yes, there are some real soldiers in my family, soldiers and law enforcement. Can you believe that? So, both I take very serious. Um, even though, oh, yes, Church Nelly, happy Veterans Day. Um, I'm sorry, I was being careless. Happy Veterans Day. Uh, would you guys stop? We got some serious stuff to get to. And I am being totally silly right now. Let me have a sip of coffee. Oh, that's good. That is that is damn good. Okay. And just for the record, I've never been to war, and I've gotten a few of those phone calls. I wonder why. Um, they used to call me Snow White, but I drifted. All right. Let's see. Megan, I'm going to take you in the way back machine here for a second. Um, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, of course, that should be the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry surprised veterans. But by the way, I put the date there so there's no confusion. This was November of 2021. Well, we all know that very first Veterans Day or Remembrance Day that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex went to a local cemetery, a national, well, yeah, it was a national cemetery. And our national cemeteries are also military yeah, they're basically military cemeteries. So everybody knows, of course, the Arlington National, but we have more national cemeteries around the country. And God bless, there are some that are overseas. Well, anyway, that's what Harry did for 2020. 2021, he and Meghan actually went to, I believe it was a military base. On Wednesday, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, well, this was actually not on the day, but the story was released just in time. Um, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex honored veterans at a glamorous gala held at the Intrepid Museum in New York City. But then, of course, there was this trip to the military base. I put the wrong one. I think I put the wrong one. Look at me try to play it off. But yeah, so anyway, you could see Harry being Prince Charming as per usual. What military base was this? Can somebody find out for me really fast? Because I totally forgot. I put the wrong thing up there. But yeah, if you could find out for me, I'd appreciate it. This was, I believe it was Veterans Day 2021. Yes, if you can find out, just so we'll know. just for the sake of the record. But I know you all have seen the pictures before, and we were in the throes of a global pandemic. And as you can see, most people, when they're not eating, they were wearing their face mask, including our Duchess. And then for 2022, Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex shared a tribute honoring service personnel. The couple marked Veterans Day and Remembrance Day with a poignant statement, which I'm not going to read that statement, but Harry has issued some beautiful statements. I think that's the one thing that I am so impressed about Harry is that he has penned some beautiful statements that he has shared. Even when he made that first solo trip around the US and he went to the 9/11 Ground Zero Memorial, he wrote a letter that he shared with the wreath that he laid at the site of the 9/11. So um, I think this guy has some mad writing skills, and I'm pretty sure we have not seen or heard the last of a Harry book. So yeah, Harry's emotional intelligence or just plain intelligence is Camp Pendleton. Thank you, Nikki Hannon. That was some great investigation work. Oh, someone else says it was Fort Dix, New Jersey. I think the Pendleton sounds familiar to me. I think that one sounds familiar to me, but I can't be sure. Um, but anyway, let's go on here. And then for 2023, Meghan and Harry had an event that was sponsored by the Archwell, right? Do you guys remember this? And Meghan wore this amazing sweater that included the poppy or jumper, if some of you guys like to call it that. But yeah, they had this nice round table conversation. And you could tell with the black and white photos that this was on their, well, it's probably still on their Archwell website. Very cool. And that's the sweater right there. You could barely see it, right? But people went crazy about this because check it out. There it is right there. It's actually navy blue, although it looks black there, but I believe it was navy blue. And Meghan puts a creative spin on Remembrance Day poppies. And so, even though this is for Remembrance Day and Veterans Day, they're like one and the same for the Sussexes because, well, you know, she's an American, he's a Brit. So and of course, he's a veteran. And Meghan, as we know from her trip to, was it Afghanistan? Um, when she served with the USO, we know that Meghan has a soft spot for the military. So they have that in common. So if you look at it like that, that's one of those great things they have in common. That, and of course, doing service. So, given the fact that this is for those holidays, I wouldn't even talk about what Meghan wore because that's always so condescending. However, it was super cute and everybody went crazy. So, uh, in photographs shared by Archwell, Prince Harry is wearing Remembrance Day poppy on the lapel of his jacket, and Meghan is wearing a Carolina Herrera cardigan that features floral applique poppies. So instead of wearing a lapel pin, she embraced the motif of the crimson flower in her fashion, while the cardigan that the Duchess is wearing is unfortunately, you know it, sold out everywhere. There are a few other similar sweaters on the market. So again, this one was for November of 2023. And of course, there's Harry looking very, very dapper in his business casual. And then there was this. If you guys remember this, this was the, oh gosh, wait, I'll see it in just a second, but the Navy SEALs. It's a Navy SEALs sports facility. Do you guys remember this night? Oh my God, the Derangers were hot about this. They were so upset that Harry and Meghan, they accused him of upstaging other members of the family, which, let's face it, if Harry just took out the trash or if Meghan went to a Whole Food store, they would accuse them of upstaging the rest of the family. So they can't win. You all know that they can't win. But they look fabulous as per usual. Prince Harry and Meghan visit San Diego. Early results show. Okay, I don't know what that is. That must have been for an election. But there you go. And Harry gave a speech. Navy SEAL Foundation Warrior Fitness Program. It was a brand new facility that just opened, and they were deeply honored to have the Duke and Duchess of Sussex there. Oh, why are they? And why should they? And he's not even an American, and blah 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 blah. Well, of course, there has always been this very close connection from one soldier to the other. And Harry has some very, very close connections in the military. So it's no wonder that they would go to such a place. But yeah, it was a very sweet occasion. And as you can see, Meghan, who nobody likes, you always get this. You always get this when she's out and about somewhere. People just melt. And that night was no exception. I mean, look at how everybody's smiling. All eyes on Harry and Meghan, as per usual. Remember what the what's his name? Sarosa, whatever his name is from Netflix. He said, I have been around a lot of famous people, a lot of celebrities. He said, but just having lunch with Meghan is a whole other world. It is another worldly thing when you're with Meghan because of the way people carry on. So I think it's Sarantos, right? Ted Sarantos, is that his name? But very sweet compliment for our Duchess. And definitely, she is a star. Yeah, so very cool. You know what? I know I made a video for that event, didn't I? I just don't know where the heck it is, but I know I made a video for it. Let me see. Do I have it? Nope, I guess not. Well, at least it's not handy. So I won't bother. Would have been nice though, right? Okay, I'm going to try one more time. If I can find it, if it's handy, then I will share it. At least I think I made a video. You know, sometimes I doubt myself. I usually make one for just about everything, but now I am doubting myself. So never mind. Now see, I'm not sure if I could share that one. Huh? Am I able to share that one? Oh, I better not. I better not. I better not. Okay. And of course, there was this little meeting room. Big smiles, of course, as per usual. And cheers, cheers. It's like they have a receiving line. It's almost like it's one of those walkabouts. I mean, I know it's not, but seems like it. Networking as per usual. Oh, sweet. Now, this was another spot of bother. You know, it got very controversial. They had the most unforgiving light in that room, and it kind of washed out everyone. And I know that there are some people who, no matter what, are going to believe that those photos were manipulated. And it was kind of sad because the lady that Meghan is embracing there on the right, she got targeted by guess who? Some of us. And they really, really upset her. And and she doesn't have anything to do with any of that stuff. She was just glad to meet Meghan. And it was a real shame. And I do hope we learn something from that. We really have to be more careful because we don't want to embarrass Harry and Meghan. I know that knee jerk reaction to defend them, but we have to be very careful with that kind of thing because it really was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. I don't know if you guys recall, but I do. I even still have the video where she tried to explain, um, the situation, and still nobody believed her. They thought she was like some person that was, you know, out to get her or something like that. But I just think that the lighting was really bad, and maybe she just didn't have the best phone or whatever. But yeah, you know, we moved on from that though. Oh, there we go. And there's the ribbon cutting. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex joined the Navy SEAL Foundation for its official opening of a new veterans training facility known as the Warrior Fitness Program ahead of Veterans Day on November the 11th. So Harry gave a speech, and this was my favorite image of the night. They look beautiful. They look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous couple. What a gorgeous couple. They do not disappoint. They are always serving. Face card, face card, always accepted, right? Face card, always accepted. Okay. Huh. Well, I have thought of one way I can try to find that. I don't know if I ever made that video, to be honest with you. I thought I did. Oh, wait, I'm getting warm. I'm getting warm. And it wasn't long after this that Megan went to that variety red carpet thingy. It was not long after that. Oh, okay. Okay, let me look at this and make sure that this is not like a news thing. Oh, I want to open it so bad, but I shouldn't. I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want them coming after me. So I better not. Darn it. Okay. Yeah, but I can't remember. I can't be for certain. So, right, leave it alone. When in doubt, leave it alone. All right, so I'm going to leave it alone. Vanessa Jones, thank you for being here. Cookies and cream. And do you guys remember Admiral Rob Bauer, chair of the NATO Military Committee? Well, anyway, as you can see, he is in full dress uniform. I believe he's from Belgium. or he's stationed in Belgium. I don't know what country he's from originally, but he is a admiral and he is part of NATO. This Armistice Day, we reflect on those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Today is a reminder that great power competition should never again be fought on the battlefield. That looks weird, but okay. But yeah, so that's him. And again, if you don't recall who Rob Bauer is, there he is right there. He went to the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games, the founding of the Invictus Games at the St. Paul's Cathedral. And more recently, you can see him on the right side. See that silver fox there? There's a guy in a kind of a gray uniform sitting at the table, and then the guy to the right of him, I do believe that that is Rob Bauer. And of course, he's speaking to his friend, Prince Harry, his friend and fellow soldiers, Prince Harry. So that was one of the more recent meetings that they've had via Zoom or whatever they're using. Now, let's move on to the other royals. Queen tried to use state poverty fund to heat Buckingham Palace. You guys, I forgot I had this receipt, but with everything else that is going on with that family, I thought it was very appropriate to remind you guys that even Queen Elizabeth was not above trying to get over on the rest of the British taxpayers. Um, Ministers were asked if money earmarked for schools, hospitals, and low income facilities could be used to meet soaring fuel bills. The Queen asked ministers for a poverty handout to help heat her palaces, but was rebuffed because they feared it would be a public relations disaster. Too late for that. Documents disclosed under Freedom of Information Act reveal. You guys, they have been at this for 1,000 years. Seriously, they have been at this for 1,000 years. And even the queen was not above getting an extra handout. I mean, after all, we've heard about those Panama Papers, haven't we? So this is just another example where that already incredibly, fabulously wealthy family go hand in hand trying to get even more money while there are some people that are, poor and struggling that don't know whether to heat or eat. And this happened. But let's keep it moving. Oh, so right there, King leads Remembrance Sunday, 2 minutes silence as Kate asks. I'm sorry, what I'm saying. Ask, watch. One more time. As Princess Kate watches on, Kate and William lead the tribute to the fallen heroes. Well, which is it? Was it Charles leading, or was it Will and Kate leading? Are we in a power struggle? Are we still in a power struggle? Are we, figuratively speaking, holding up a spoon to Camilla's face to see if it fogs? Huh? Is that what we're doing? Are we about to have a decorator on speed dial in case we inherit some more property anytime soon? What is going on? There is a power struggle going on between the king, the heir, and Kate. So, who led the Remembrance Day? One media outlet says the king, the other is praising William and Kate for leading. It seems as though they don't have a understanding as to who's in charge. William is notorious for overstepping the mark where his authority is concerned. After all, he's the one who is not waiting for someone to say he's a global leader or a global statesman. He announces it himself, and you better keep up. It's up to us to keep up. So, anyway, SK posted that, and I was like, ooh, that is kind of juicy. Looks like there is a bit of a spot of bother. Yes, there appears to be a spot of bother. Now, there's a cenotaph that looks beautiful. What a way to celebrate and acknowledge sacrifice. It is very nice. And it would even be a better occasion if there were real veterans uh, of war representing the royal family. But instead, there's a bunch of cosplay royals out there with all the medals and braids and sashes. And in one case, there is someone from the queen side of the family. There we go. As you can see there's one very, shall we say, flamboyant member of the family who seems to be the only one that can find that bespoke maxi coat. I looked at all the photos yesterday and I could not see one person sporting a maxi. Now, I know Philip was tall, but he wasn't that tall. He just seemed tall because he was standing next to Queen Elizabeth. But where does one find these maxi coats? Huh? Where does one find these maxi coats? It seems as though Edwina has maybe some seamstress on retainer for just such an occasion, but I don't think that anybody else in all of the British military has a coat that is literally sweeping the floor. I mean, I haven't seen the back of it. Do you guys think it has a train? Do you think it has a Does it have a train? Does it have a bustle? I wouldn't be surprised if it has a bustle, you know. But it may even have a train on it. I'm gonna have to see if I can find some more photos. But yeah, somebody is walking the runway, honey. Supermodel work, work. Yeah, somebody is walking. You better walk, walk, walk. You go, girl. Oh, got a star in the house. One of my favorite content creators, VS speaks royally. And she really does. We're going to pin that to the top of the chat. And you know the drill. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Always support these Sussex friendly spaces. There's so few of them in comparison to all of the hate that's out there. But I tell you what, it has gotten better. I'm always so amazed at how many Sussex friendly spaces there are out there. So, okay, let's keep it moving. Now, we discussed this yesterday. For whatever reason, in spite of past years where you can see clearly that there are two signatures on the wreath that has been presented by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, now the Prince and Princess of Wales. But for some reason, Catherine hasn't signed the 2024. And this ain't the first time because there was a statement made by Kensington Palace that only featured William's cipher. They have a joint cipher. They have a cipher that represents both William and Catherine. However, Upon instructions from William, I'm sure they only used the cipher, the style that he used before he was married. So, if that's the case, what was the point of all of that? Oh, look, he's touching her back. Oh, look, she's patting his bum. Oh, look, they just looked at each other. Oh, they're so affectionate. All this PDA. Oh, my goodness, I'm blushing. I'm embarrassed. They want you to think that they are just, oh, they can't keep their hands off of each other. As a matter of fact, that's what one of the articles said, is that they cannot stop touching each other, only for the event to end. And William, I'm told, I did not see this myself, but they say William set a new land speed record for getting away from another person, another member of the royal family. Now, again, I did not see that for myself, but apparently William had had enough, and he had to get back, almost as though he has traded one beard for another. He had to get out of there. Yeah. I don't know what that was about, because they were looking so affectionate. I mean, they were just going on and on about how they kept looking at each other and touching each other. Like that famous glance that they exchanged on the Buckingham Palace balcony for the Troop in the Color Day. And then it seemed like they didn't look at each other again until they were rolling around in the sand at the beach and jumping over bales of hay, and Kate going for long walks through the grains blowing in the wind, and that one that looked like a herbal essence commercial, or as I say, I saw that thing they made, and I don't know about you, but I felt as fresh as a summer's eve. I did. I felt as I felt as fresh as a summer's eve. Which is weird, because I don't know that that's ever happened before, but I did. I felt as fresh as a summer's eve. So, um, you could pretty much, and then someone said it looked like an old Coca-Cola commercial or Pepsi commercial or something like that, but it was a mess, and it was just a little bit too flashy for their own good, and they got a lot of backlash for that. Almost everything that they do, they get some sort of backlash, which seems almost impossible when you consider how protected they are. And yet, still, on occasion, the unguarded truth makes its way through and actually sees the light of day. That happens a lot. So, what secret are they hiding? Do they even live together? Do they even live together? But they have been doing a lot of comparisons lately. And there was one I wasn't going to show you, but what the hell's, because we're here. Um it's the only card they have. It's the only card they have. Um Palace Power. Keyway, Kate and Wills prove they're in sync, right? In sync, while Meghan outshines Harry. While Meghan outshines Harry? Now, I could understand that they have to accuse Meghan of something every day. I think it's in their contract, the invisible contract. But outshines Harry? Harry, who is recognized as the most famous person on the planet. That poll, that Gov, whatever poll, YouGov poll, it asks who is the most famous person in the world. And at the very top, not the second, not the third, Prince Harry is known the world over. And of course, somewhere down there is William, then Meghan, and then you have to go a little bit further to find Kate Middleton. I'm not making that up. I am not making that up. Now, it's not the popularity one. This is strictly who's famous. So that is very clickbaitable. And trust me, I didn't bother to read the article. That is very clickbaitable, but it's not the whole story. It's not even close to the story. Harry is very secure in his manhood. Harry is very secure in his role wherever he goes, whatever he does. He does not have to be center stage. He does not want to be center stage. As a matter of fact, I do recall that one of the squatties even said that when they went to Nigeria, Harry would not allow them to make a big fuss. If you just must make a fuss about something, my wife, whatever. I don't need it. I don't want it. He wanted to make sure that Meghan had a good time because he's a good man and he loves his wife, and he wanted to make sure that Meghan had a good time. The thing is, he didn't have to ask for it. It was going to happen anyway, because if you recall that story where he went to go visit the veterans, everybody was glad to see him, but they were like, next time, can you please bring your wife? So they have a very unique thing where you can have either or both, and nobody's really disappointed. And that's special. Nobody's disappointed. So I think this article is rubbish, clickbait, and just some filler to try to generate revenue. And most likely it was based, I mean, let me draw your attention before I move on. Let me draw your attention to that green outfit. See those green outfits? You guys know what that's from, right? I believe they went to Pakistan. Was that the trip where they said that this is so dull? I believe it was Carol Malone who said that you could not cobble together a whole personality between the two of them. That's how boring. That's how boring and lackluster their royal tour was. And when I say boring, I mean put a capital B on boring. That's how boring it was. So instead of worrying about whether Meghan is outshining Harry, Meghan gives use to Harry's whatever ego. What you need to do is to try to figure out why nobody's shining in Camp Wells, Camp Cambridge Wells's. You need to figure out why nobody shines over there. I mean, they are as dull as dishwater. You could watch paint dry and find yourself more amused than looking at Will and Kate do anything. See how these articles backfire, and they really make the other two look bad. It don't cost the Sussexes nothing because people are on to them, number one. Number two, it just ain't true. It just ain't true. Carol Malone said you could not cobble together a whole personality, a single personality. You could put Will and Kate together and still not get enough of an interesting person from the both of them together. Painful to be around, painfully boring and lackluster. If you want someone to giggle and flip their hair, or if you want someone to tell some tone deaf jokes, William, then they're the ones you want to be around. Sad, sad. And Harry and Meghan must endure this constant negativity, not because they're trying to outdo someone, but just because the other two are so boring. 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 If it's not for the smile, you wouldn't even know that she was altogether there. Seriously. Now, Palace confirms Kate Middleton is not undergoing cancer treatment after surgery. Kate, the Princess of Wales. Oh my, she's only 42. Why did I think she was older than that? Wait, is she? Is she for? Okay, anyway, she's 43 now, right? But I thought she was in her late 40s. I don't know. I thought she's in her late 40s. No shade. So they said that there was no cancer. 53? Oh, 43. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's weird. I don't know why I thought she was older. I thought her and Kamala were about the same age. Never mind. So Kensington Palace has confirmed that Princess Kate does not have cancer. They said on January the 17th, there was no cancer. Now, I do believe that they say that it takes, a while, more than that day or what. I don't know. Don't they have to do like a biopsy or something to determine that? So that's what they said. And if you also recall from January 17th, when a short time later, and very bizarrely, I might add, they claimed that Charles was having surgery. And guess what? No cancer. In both cases, there was no cancer. Nothing. But because of the where's Kate, where's Kate, where's Kate, by what was it, March the 22nd? Guess what they found? You won't believe it. That there had been cancer cells. And ever since then, the tabloids have been playing this violin and declaring cancer stricken Kate, Kate's cancer treatment, Kate's chemotherapy, Kate's preventative cancer treatment. None of the wording made sense, especially to one of those American doctors, made absolutely no sense. But they kept this going. And still, there's a big question. More and more people are asking, did she have cancer or did she not? I cannot believe that this is happening, even though I have been one of the people that has been a bit suspicious about exactly what she was being treated for. I've had my suspicion. I was supposed that if you watch Royal Sussex, we've all had our suspicions. But what's different now is that the mainstream media is picking it up as though they were just waiting for enough nudges to make it worth their while to discuss it. Kate will stay in the hospital. Now, this one's written for the American market. See the little American flag up there next to Mirror? That's why it's the hospital instead of Kate will stay in hospital is the hospital, the way we say it here, for about 2 weeks. That was another red flag. 2 weeks for what? What are you staying in the hospital 2 weeks for? Do you know that one of my cousins had open heart surgery? They took him off. Well, They stopped his heart for, I think, for about 16 minutes, right? They put him in an ice bath and stopped his heart for 16 minutes. He was in the hospital, I believe, for a week. Just 1 week in the intensive care for, I believe it was 2 days, 5 days, and then the balance of the time was in one of the regular rooms. And that was open heart surgery. They stopped his heart. He was clinically gone for 16 minutes, and he didn't stay in the hospital for 2 weeks. Well, Church Nelly, as I say, this is the Mirror USA. So, but yeah. So I even heard doctors say they named all types of things, and they said it would be very unlikely, even with the most serious, unless you're like in some massive car accident, jaws of life, induced coma, or something like that. It didn't make sense. uh, okay. Well, like I say, it didn't make sense. Long as nobody mentions Thomas Kingston, they seem to be okay. Whatever you do, just don't mention Thomas Kingston because for some reason that's when stuff started getting weird. Now, as for the balcony, now these are photos from, I believe, 2023. This is when she was pulling those faces for the bulk of the time that she was up there. I don't know why she was pulling those rather bizarre faces, but she just kept doing it. They couldn't even find a decent photo of her to put on the newspapers because she kept twitching her mouth like she had some kind of complex or something. She had this little nervous tick and her mouth just twitching and twitching and twitching. And I guess maybe since her hands wasn't moving, that that energy had to go somewhere, and so her mouth kept twitching, twitching, and sucking her lips in and out, and puckering up and everything. I couldn't understand what was going on, but Amber Rowan, Amber Rowan, is that really a thing? Is that really a thing? I've never heard of that before. Kind of caught me off guard with that one. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I'm going to take your word for it. So, anywho, um, that's what was going on. They couldn't even get a decent photo of her because her mouth kept twitching. And so people have been concerned. I've been concerned. I don't hate that girl. I just, I think she's kind of shady and she has benefited from this hate campaign against the Duchess of Sussex. And, I've seen so many articles where they say Meghan needs to apologize, Meghan needs to atone. Is Kate the one who's adjacent to a 1 billion pound fortune? She's the one that needs to apologize. Harry said he wants that family to apologize to his wife. I don't find him unreasonable. If he said that's what is required, then it's probably necessary. They must have really messed up. But you know what? She got to do something about that tick that she has, because if she don't stop doing that, she's going to turn into, see what I'm saying? She don't want to turn into that horrid creature. Yeah. She'll want to get that old pensioner's mouth. But she don't want to get that pensioner's mouth. But I would love to say that this was it, but there's more. There's more. See there? It's almost like the one on the right looked like she trying to blow spit bubbles or something. She was at it for quite some time. It didn't even make sense. I'm just like, something wrong with that girl. She's sitting up there like she about to make some spit bubbles. I don't even know how long this ceremony is, but it seemed like she couldn't hardly get through it. I think it's because she ain't been able to move her arms for a while. If she can't move those hands, then she's not having a good time. So yeah. And then at some point when they had the moment of silence, um, I told you guys the other day, I said they're gonna go to that gala, and she looked great at the gala, but it kind of caught people off guard when they saw her at the Remembrance Day because she almost looks like another person. Now, to be fair, this is not Remembrance Day this year. This was a couple years ago. Remember when the Queen was so sick and everything, and was it 2021? And then by 2022, uh, the Queen had died already. So when November came around, she wasn't able to participate for obvious reasons. And so it was Kate and Godzilla and Sophie and whatever else is whoever was at the other windows. But you could see that I don't know if it's the light or what. I'm just gonna say that I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm picking on her, but I knew that even though she looked really plump and healthy and vigorous when she was at the Albert Hall, I knew when she got back out and got on that balcony that it was going to be a whole nother story. And God help her, it was. It really was. So the Derangers are getting very angry because there are some people on social media that are asking questions, right? And so that's going to bring me to what I wanted to talk about today, the main thing. So, but as you can see, Celebrity said jazz hands really had a face like thunder for part of today's Remembrance Sunday stuff. We'll have coverage on that and more tomorrow. So even Celebrity said, she had a face like thunder. That she had a face like thunder, which I had never heard that phrase before. But yeah, and so I'm just saying that even a couple years ago, people were pointing out that Kate looked very unwell and unhealthy in comparison to the evenings that she spent at the Albert Hall. So just so you know, traditionally they go to the Albert Hall for that show, that gala, or whatever, and then for the Remembrance Sunday, they go to the cenotaph, and I don't know if the lights are just more revealing or just unflattering or what. And it just did not help that she kept making those faces. So this was a really bad year for her. So right there, not really sure what to make of Metro. The Times, the Daily Express, and the Daily Mail all going with unflattering photos of Kate with her mouth askew, with her mouth askew for with her mouth askew for the cover. And they did that. It was not the Sussex squad. It was not other people. For whatever reason, the tabloids decided to throw her under the bus. Now, this was 2021, I believe, because the Queen was still alive. And, health fears for the Queen, fears over Queen's health. Maybe they used those photos because they wanted to make it seem like Kate was doing something that she don't do that often, and that's some deep soul searching and contemplation. I think what they were trying to sell was this idea that even if Lizzie goes any minute now, don't worry, you're in good hands because Catherine the Great is here and nothing is going to change. Now, maybe someone in Buckleberry, maybe her mother kind of called around and got the papers all hyped up, maybe Kensington Palace, but someone, it seems, was trying to sell this idea. Don't worry if the Queen dies because Kate's in town and she will fix everything. She will guide and lead this nation and all that kind of stuff, totally overlooking Charles and Camilla. That's the other thing, is that they kept playing this little game where they were not acknowledging that Charles would be king. And for the most part, to their credit, Charles and Camilla didn't really cause any trouble, didn't kick up any stir about it. But once the Queen died, let me tell you something. Charles asserted his authority immediately. Immediately. There was no ambiguities or doubts about it who is king. He let William and Kate play their games, and maybe that's why the tabloids ran those unflattering photos. Maybe someone called and was like, you know what? I'm about tired of this heifer. I'm so sick of this heifer, I don't know what to do. Um, Tell you what, this is what I need y'all to do. See if you got some pictures of her with her mouth askew. See if you can run some photos of her with her mouth askew. Hello? Hello? Is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. Yeah, Senior Royal. Do you have any photos of Catherine the Great with her mouth askew? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she called and ordered Kate's mouth askew. Although I can tell you right now, I don't think it takes much encouragement. She gonna do what her mouth gonna do what it's gonna do anyway. Let's see. Baby Sister says some people sway and some. I get it. Some of them sway and some make faces after a sip. I got you. Well, I did say the other day that I feel like there is an intervention necessary. So I stand by what I said. I think that they both need an intervention, but recollections may vary. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, poor Kate with her mouth askew, and people are obsessing over her appearance. Now, again, this was from 2021. It's not the more recent. This one, um, okay, so yeah, this is what I was talking about. You see there? Those are the papers. And look at that. One after the other, they ran with these terribly unflattering photos, one after the other, while the Queen was still alive. The Times, Metro, that was really bad. But that invisible contract, that's their people. That's what they, you know, that's how they presented her. So they tried to blame us for something that had nothing to do with us. That was her people, the tabloid media. Okay, Amber. Excuse me. Okay. Um, Now, this is the meat of it. Dorinda, is it Carr? Dorinda Carr. She has been accused of picking on a cancer stricken woman, um, or someone who had cancer, or someone who is now cancer free. I'm not sure how to say it because I'm not sure what it was in the first place. Um, but she tweeted, genuine question. Why has Kate aged so much? Isn't she only 42? Is she a smoker? It's the only explanation. Now, for someone who lives a more public life, someone whose life is pretty, um, well, I would say that she's been like a reality show person, a commentator. She has her grind, right? She has her grind and she makes her money and so she has put everything at risk. Not the first time that happened. And of course, she's not the only one this has ever happened to. But I guess she put herself at risk because she dared tweet something about Catherine the Great. And then there was a very swift backlash. Um, so I didn't put the comments that other people made, but I'm sharing with you the comments that she returned to those people after they started questioning her motivation. So she says, okay, seems people took this the wrong way. It was a genuine ask. My brother had chemo. He didn't age. He died. Apology if it was insensitive or just plain wrong. Hands up, I'm sorry. So she apologized immediately. She apologized. And still, there was several people, one in particular, this one is going to surprise you. Hang in there. I'll get to it. Um, that's disgusting. It was a genuine ask. My brother had cancer and died. He didn't age. Why be so despicable? Narendra, her life was threatened. They said some very racist things to her. And the only people that were digging in on what she said and responding with the ugliest comments were people who do not like Black or brown people or any other minority group, were people who had the Union Jack and the St. George flag emojis, Brexit people, there was some MAGA people. They were really piling up on her. And I think it kind of shook her up a bit because they were literally threatening her life. And so Narendra says she had Botox. Stop lying. Now, again, I'm not posting the comments that the other people made. I'm just showing you her responses. And you are one to talk with the vile articles you've written about Meghan Markle for years. You are not anyone to talk about me, Julie. I've apologized for my insensitivity, but it was a genuine ask. Foolish, perhaps, but you have never apologized for your hatred. Now, who is she talking about? I'll get to it. There's another one. No, Julie. You well, you bully women, particularly Meghan Markle. I made one stupid tweet. I apologize within hours. We will await your apology for bullying Meghan all these years, or am I just another woman of color for you to attack now? I've been attacked so viciously, racist, disgusting, misogyny. Uh, they weren't bothered about Kate. They wanted any excuse to attack me, any. And so this went back and forth for quite some time. And eventually she did make a video, but I'll get to that in a minute. So let's see. Okay, so the racists have come at me on scale I've never known. I mean, on a scale I've never known. I put silly but genuine ask about Kate. Looked so aged. That's all. That is all. I've apologized sincerely, but Julie Burchill, do you guys know that name? Julie Burchill? Uh, attacker of Meghan decided to come at me, the same woman who was fired for being a racist toward Meghan Markle. The absolute nerve of it. How dare you think you can all attack me so disgustingly just because I asked why Kate looked aged? Stupid, yes, but not worthy of violence and racial attacks. So it just went from bad to worse. Then she says, I asked a flipping simple question about aging, genuine, perhaps stupid. Then she goes on to say, is this you, Julie? Sacked over racist tweets? And then, of course, I'm not going to say this no, she says, I'm going to say this very carefully. Just because I'm brown doesn't mean that I can't or won't have an opinion. All I ask is why Kate aged so much. I like the way the fact she just keeps saying it. But let's get on to the next one here. So more back and forth, more back and forth, more back and forth. I'll leave that up for you all to look at while I find and cue the video where she decided, okay, I've had enough tweeting. I'm just going to look into the camera and say what I need to say. Okay. And okay, I'll leave that up for a second. But it got really ugly. It got really ugly. Wishing me cancer. Wow. I made 12.56 pence last month. So shut up, Peter. Stop using me to get noticed. Do you see how ridiculous you all sound over a tweet? Okay, let me go over here. So she said, I've never been proven more correct about the racial abuse on this platform than today. I put a tweet about aging, and all you disgusting racists come after me like I hurt kids. You utter sick. Wow, she really went there. Aging. Do you care about Kate? You don't give a crap. You just wanted to come after me. Well, you just gave me the best Sunday ever. Not to mention Julie Birch attacking me on top of what a clown. Yeah. Okay. So do I have that? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. I want you to be able to at least see her face when she was speaking into the camera. So let me just grab that very fast. And I will share that with you. Give me just a second. But did that get ugly or what? Did that get ugly? I probably could share the vid. Yeah, you know what? I'll just play the video. I'm sure that'll be fine. I'll just play the video. I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay, it's coming up. It's about 4 minutes long.
Good morning, guys. I just thought I'd do a quick video instead of tweet after tweet because it becomes pretty ridiculous, as if it wasn't ridiculous already. I put out a stupid tweet. That wasn't my intention. My intention was not to be malicious or nasty or anything. I'm not like that, anybody who knows me. It was stupid to ask about the aging. I've admitted that, and I put my hands up and I've apologised if it caused offence. The only people who were offended, though, because many people on Twitter and social media have asked exactly what I've asked, but did not receive the sexual, racial, violent abuse that I did from accounts with ETL flags, Union Jacks, disgusting abuse. I asked about aging. I didn't kill kids. I didn't wish death on anyone. I didn't do anything like that. I asked about aging and if she smoked. Nothing to do with cancer at all. My brother suffered from cancer, went through brutal treatment of chemo, and I wouldn't ever do that. He died. What we do know is there's a lot of misinformation and facts matter. So you've all come at me about the cancer. It was pre-cancerous cells as far as I'm aware. She's had near enough a year off work. Of course, it must take its toll. I know plenty of people who've been in and out, in a hospital and out for pre-cancerous treatment, and they're back at work. People suffer all day long, and they work, and they have to work. My own brother worked up until weeks before he died. So Kate does have a lot of privilege there. I'm not excusing my tweet, but what I'm saying is you all are mad at me. But you're not mad at the fact her husband and her father-in-law profit from cancer charities. That they don't pay tax due. That they profit from the army and from charities, cancer charities. You're not mad about that. But you're mad at me. And I tell you something else that was very telling. That a lot of the comments were all about, well, Meghan Markle, what's Meghan got to do with it? You know what you did? You exposed your narrative. You exposed that what this was all about was I, as a brown woman, an Indian, had criticised, had the gall to criticise Kate's appearance. Now, by the way, it was her ageing. I know you all went down my tweets to try and find some things I've said about Kate and couldn't find one, because I've never slated Kate's looks. In fact, all you would have found was me saying how beautiful Kate is. And to not pit Kate against Meghan, that's what you found, but you didn't want to put that out there because it didn't suit your narrative to go at me. So many other people have said it, but you came at me, asking for me to be cancelled, etc., etc., etc. It's disgusting. What you did yesterday, I came out of it okay. Yes, it was a stupid tweet. I apologise. And the fact that Julie Burchill was your little mascot, Julie Burchill, who was sacked for being a racist towards Meghan Markle. We already know what the narrative here is. It's you guys pitting Kate against Meghan. Again, I'm not excusing my tweet, but it's disgusting what you guys tweeted me yesterday. Absolutely vile. You're continuing today. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving the country. I'm going to continue. You can keep cancelling me as much as you like, but you will not silence my voice just because I'm a brown woman. And it is that, and you will never convince me otherwise. And also, let's not forget the misinformation Kensington Palace has put out. You all at it. You're coming at me for asking her about aging when you were all, where's Kate? Where's Kate? Oh, that's a fake video. Oh, this is a fake that. Oh, God, William must have been abusing her. Oh, he's stressing her out. You were all at it. I wasn't. So, what I'm saying to you is, I see your narrative. I see what's going on. You know what? I've done my apologies. I can live with myself. It was just a tweet about aging. Just a tweet about aging. Think about that.
Okay, she said what she said. So, just so you know, that is the one she's speaking of right there. UK columnist fired for suggesting Georgina Floydina for a royal baby name. And when you consider that George Floyd died violently, to make a suggestion that someone use a variation of that name for their infant child, that would scare me to no end. I would have that fight or flight feeling go through me if someone said made reference to my child like that. I think I would get physically ill if someone made reference to my child like that. And that is what this Julie person did. And so I started thinking, who in the heck is this? I remember when that happened, but I didn't know anything about Julie Burchill. Ah, well, that's what her Twitter account says. Radical feminist. I remember the white women feminists that are writing for these tabloids, those are the gatekeepers. Because they're feminists, do not mean that they're not full of racist tendencies. It's the other. They actually are more likely to have racist tendencies. So when you see someone like, I could think of one right now. How about Rachel Johnson, who is a feminist, at her own admission, a feminist, but yet she said those nasty things about Meghan. So not only is she a feminist, but she's also probably racist. Probably, allegedly, a racist. Um, what else is a tale? Pronouns. Thought that. Okay, she's being snarky. Making Maryland sold out Brighton Fringe, whatever that means. Looking for a small, medium London venue next year. I guess she must have written a book or something like that. I don't know. Well, whatever it is. And then, of course, she's a Zionist. You see there, Christian Zionist. And given what's happening to brown people in that part of the world, well, I tell you, she hasn't changed her stripes or lost her spots or anything else. She's the same awful person that she used to be and still is. And then, of course, after she got fired, where's she going to work? She was without a job for a while. It should be no surprise that the last article that she has written on November the 1st, 2024, what, 10 days ago, 11 days ago? The Spectator, which is as conservative and nasty and cruel and it's just as bad as Newsweek. It's like Newsweek. It pretends to be legitimate news when in fact it's all MAGA, all Brexit, all white supremacy all the time. So obviously she fits in very well there. And this one shocked me. I had never saw this. Julie Burchill abused me for being Muslim, yet she was cast as the victim. That doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me. When Jeremy Clarkson said those things about Meghan, what happened was all of the reporters that circled the wagon to defend him, hasn't he been punished enough? He already apologized. Jeremy Clarkson became the victim, right? He's lost this and he's lost that. He became the victim. And that always happens. The United States has just elected one of the most privileged victims in the world, Donald J. Trump. That is just a wealthy white man that cannot catch a break. I don't know if you call that reverse psychology, gaslighting, or what, but the people who get the most out of life and work the least, they get to put on their victim hat, and everybody tries to sort it out for them. So when she says, yet she was cast as a victim, I'm not surprised. So if anyone is not clear about what the meaning of white privilege is, that's exactly what it is. White privilege is when you could be wrong, left, right, and center. You can be wrong. And as soon as you start playing the victim card, everybody, including other people of color, will rush to your side to protect you from the mean black or brown person who's being aggressive. You could be in the hospital recovering from wounds from being attacked by the person who's calling themselves the victim, and yet you will be the one handcuffed to your bed. You will be the one that is likely to go to jail. That is what that privilege is, just so we're clear. And so when you get 52% of the electorate, I believe it's 52%, although I think that number is smaller now, but when you get more than half of the American public to vote for someone like that, it is not because that person is a winner every which way you can conceive of in a very obvious way. It's because they're playing the victim card. They want you to feel like a victim. They want you to believe that there is this organized group of people that are socialists and unpatriotic, even though those were the people that were responsible for storming the United States Capitol, trying to steal the election. He's the victim. That is the most wicked thing in the world, and especially when it happens to you and there's nothing you can do about it. Kamala cannot finish a sentence. She's speaking word salad. People were more willing to believe in the worst person that I've ever seen in my life over someone who actually worked hard, was known as a high achiever. That person was dismissed as lazy, a liar, unable to speak. That is white privilege. So, in case you don't know what it is, that's what it is. If Obama wasn't running against a fossil, I don't know if he would have ever been president. I don't know. I honestly don't know. There were so many things against John McCain, more of the same, too old, too this, too that. He didn't reflect change, and people were hungry for change in that moment. But if it would have been someone with equally dynamic personality and an amazing story, I don't know how it would have gone. Because as soon as he got in there, the Republicans tapped into that victimhood so fast. This is really a lesson about privilege, that this person could do something like that and she finds another job and still plays the victim. Virgil says she's been sacked by the Telegraph after racist tweet about Harry and Meghan's baby Lilibet. After the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced the arrival of their second child on Sunday, Miss Burchill tweeted, "What a missed opportunity. They could have called it Georgina Floydina, some in reference to someone who died violently." That makes me cringe. The post was met with backlash on social media, where it was described as disgusting, racism, and despicable. A barrister who tweeted an offensive joke in response to Burchill's post was suspended from her job on Monday and apologized. George Floyd's murder by a white police officer last summer in Minneapolis led to a worldwide Black Lives Matter protest. Yeah, VS, I always think, I always believe that the president in office helps to shape the narrative, the storyline for the president or the candidate running for the presidency. Because the Orange Menace managed to use Obama's blackness, Obama's um, life experience, not against him, but against sensible people, against hardworking people. Um, all those years, that man said, for what was it, 6 years before he announced, all those years, he was calling Obama a Muslim, saying that he wasn't qualified. I mean, literally got Obama to show his papers like we're in the slave days or something. And that was very upsetting. And then the day before election, I don't know if people remember this, but the day before election, Trump said Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. And he never brought it up again. And what he was doing, he was closing the deal. He was making sure that anybody who was holding out their vote because of his birtherism would not have that reason to withhold their vote from him. And guess what? It worked. And he did the same thing this past election. I don't know if y'all caught it, but I cannot stop hearing it. I cannot stop hearing it. I have an ear for these things, just so you know. I don't always get it right, but I have an ear for these things. Those last few rallies, when he declared that he was going to take care of women, he said, "I will take care of women. I will take care of you." That was to close the deal. That was to get those last lingering votes that seemed out of reach. And guess what? It worked. It worked. Everything that he said was calculated, even the ridiculous. By talking about cats and dogs, even though the vice president won the debate, that's not what people remember. It was a masterclass in communication, in merchandising, marketing. And I would hear these things, and I could see what the game was. And what makes me feel bad is that I know it works. I know it works. Just out of the blue, he said that he was going to take care of women. Why would he say that? To get those last lingering voters, the ones who just were not sure. So the whole time that he was running, he was calibrating and shaping the message to suit this group and that group. And in between, he made sure that he kept all attention on him at all time. It just goes to show how fickle and, dare I say, ignorant most of the voters are, because it worked. Sink into the lowest possible denominator. It worked. And now we're stuck with them. I kept hearing that he was going to take care of women. I will take that was an abusive boyfriend telling the abused girlfriend that I'll never do that again. That's what that was. And people believed it. I really do believe that that phrase was the deal closer. And I believe it to be true because I cannot stop hearing it. I keep hearing him say that. And it was just so random and out of the blue. Whatever numbers, whatever polls they were looking at, just as when he said that Obama was born in America, period, and never mentioned it again, it served its purpose. Locking up Hillary Clinton, it served its purpose, never to be mentioned again. Now, I know people started chanting it at the rallies here and there, but he wasn't leading the chorus. It had served its purpose. He didn't need it anymore. I don't know if this is at all interesting to anyone or if I'm just making you feel worse, but I'm telling you, when I hear those things, I cannot unhear it. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. It's like you can just pick them out of midair, right? It's like someone is shooting at you and you're so fast, you can just grab the bullet sitting on the ground. That's how I am when I hear people pulling the okey doke. He used quite a few of those, but there's some that were more effective than others. There are some that he used to close the deal. So, how terrible that something so obvious could happen and the people fall for it. So many people fall for it. I was like, wow, he's doing it again. Okay, I'm going to move on. Uh, so, if you want to see the tweet itself, there it is. What a missed opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then the other person says here, no, Doria, don't black names matter? No, Doria, don't black names matter? Now, that's the other person who apologized, I believe. And she says, I was hoping for Doria Oprah, the racist rotters. And then she says, Dopra. I mean, this was the pardon my French, the lamest conversation you ever seen. These people really do need to get out more. I mean, it's not even clever. It is not even clever. Okay. Now, I like this person right here. Did you guys watch the video that I put in the community tab? Professor Dr. Monica Doberstein, she has a YouTube channel. There's barely any subscribers, but she has a lot of stuff on there. Now, it's not a for-profit channel. It is for information channel. And so there's no profit whatsoever. I believe what she's trying to do is to expose people to as much of the stuff that we have just been talking about as possible. So do go to the community tab at some point and find that channel. And she put an, gosh, how long is that video? It's pretty long, but it's like the greatest hits. You'll see stuff that maybe you haven't seen for a while. There'll be information there that you may have not have heard for a while. It's all there. It's all there. I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, wow, she is really let me see here. I want to see if I can find the channel. Okay. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, she's only got a handful of videos, 11 videos in all. And so she made one that is 3 hours long. And I believe it was longer and she shortened it. But oh, she's got all the greatest hits on there. She has Harry speaking to Colbert. Oh, she has. Oh, you know what? I just noticed she has that one where someone was saying that there was a lot of fruity stories about William, and the girl interrupted. None that we can talk about here. Hello, lawyers. Remember that? She even has that on there. So there's Dr. Shola. I haven't watched the whole thing because it's 3 hours, but I'm going to have to check it out because I'm sure there's a lot of valuable information there, things that I can use. Well, anyway, I was just taking a glance at that. Gosh, I got too much stuff open. Let me close some of this down before my computer freezes. So, you guys, how are you doing? I haven't really asked. I'm hoping everybody's okay. I know the election was a big downer for anyone who, you know, anybody with a heartbeat. I know it was a big downer. And the thing is, Lady Sussex said it best when she said that we have to uh, keep working. We have to keep moving. We have to um, dig our heels in, so to speak, even further because there's still work to be done. And even if something as big as that happens, and it seems like it's the worst thing in the world, and I'm sure to some degree it may very well be the worst thing in the world, we still got other work to do. We still have Harry and Meghan to support. We still need to support them in their work. And of course, there's so many other people that maybe you follow or I follow. We have to support those people too. Oh wow, she's got Kinsey Schofield. Yuck. But yeah, she has create. I think it's just all random stuff, but how cool is that? I love it. Maybe I'll put the link here. That might be easier for some of you all. Yeah, I'll grab the link for her channel. And I don't know how often she posts, but it seems very random. And we'll see. Okay, whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Let's see. Pam Porter says, getting better. We've survived worse and we know how to fight. Here, here. Let me see. I'm doing great. I cried for a second when Kamala spoke to the young. After that, I've been in full resistance. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mashar. Mm. I agree with you. Somebody needs to do it. Okay, doing okay, Baron. Just taking it day by day. I just feel like I'm in mourning, but the comfort is knowing that I'm not alone. Oh, that's so important. That we're not alone. Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing, Heather. I hope you have a great time. Oh, you will. I know you will. I don't even need to hope. You're gonna have a great time. Um. Okay. Okay. Pam Porter says still processing this debacle. Yeah, while we're waiting, first of all, I pray that the 2025 thing does not really happen. Although I'm I don't know. I believe that they're going to do what they plan to do. Um there's a handbook. They call it the handbook, and it's I believe the number is 4,000 or 6,000 jobs, something like that. And this handbook that they give the president, um, when the new administration comes in, there are a lot of people that will stay and work for the next president. And then there's some of the top tier positions, like, for instance, the ambassador to France, right? The ambassador to France is one of it's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And if you can't be the ambassador to France, then maybe the Court of St. James, the ambassador to the United Kingdom, or maybe Japan, maybe Canada, someplace where you've always wanted to go. So the high donors get those positions, right? But the precinct captains, or someone really low on the ladder, those are the ones that get some of those bureaucratic positions, especially some of the positions that do not require a diploma or college education. Anything like that you can get is really cool. It's nice to have on your resume or your CV. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose their jobs, and a lot of people are going to be hired regardless of their experience in that position. Like the guy who took over the post office and slowed down the postal service, which is what Trump was hoping would help him win the election last time. And because that guy's job is a constitutional position, it was very hard to get rid of him. And I think he's still in that job, as a matter of fact, isn't he? Very hard to get rid of. His position, I believe, is mentioned in the Constitution. It's a constitutional position. So, just like a Supreme Court justice, you cannot fire a Supreme Court justice. You just can't. Any judge that serves on the federal court serves for life. Appellate, circuit, supreme. If it's a federal court, it's a lifetime position. There are no term limits. Okay. Joan Commonwealth says, I tapped out of election news months in advance. I voted by mail and have not tapped back in. Okay, that is very wise. That is very wise. I did not follow it a lot. Toward the end, I got really excited for Kamala. And then I started watching more stuff. I think one of the reasons why I'm doing okay right now is because I didn't actually bond with Kamala as I would have with candidates in the past. And obviously, with 100 days until election, didn't really have the opportunity. I don't even know that I ever bonded with Joe Biden. I was just looking for him to not be Trump. And, but there have been a few candidates where I was just like so involved and so hurt that I had to take to my bed for a couple of days. And again, I haven't had that experience in a while, which is a good thing, because it just takes too much out of you, you know? It really takes too much out of you. And I don't ever want to feel that feeling again. So I just don't follow politics as closely as I used to. I usually vote blue, and that's just the way it goes. So, okay. Well, you guys, just know that your Sussex Squad family will be here for you. And, um, you know, I can't lie and say, oh, everything is going to be okay, because it's not January yet. But my advice is party like it's 1999 until Inauguration Day. Worry about it later. If you think something is going to happen financially in your situation, I would say definitely try to hang on to your money until we know what's going to happen. Some people are more vulnerable than others, but keep your eye on your wallet, because I keep hearing tariff, tariff, tariff. I don't know how bad the tariffs are going to be, but an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. So that's about the only thing I could say is enjoy this calm period. And I have been trying to avoid watching any of that stuff because um I got enough stuff going on, and I feel like for the most part I'm in a good place, and I don't want to forfeit that for some lunatic. Oh my goodness, really? Wow. That's weird. Now, was the flight on the ground? Were they outside or were they inside? You said at, so I'm supposing that means they were outside. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's alarming. I'm gonna have to check that out later. Also, you all, as I was saying last week, that when we're doing our thing, there's a lot of people that are just listening and reading the comments and stuff. People that never comment, um, and also spiritually, even though we don't know who's out there most of the time, I think they feel your spirit. I really do. And that's why I said that um, while Lady Sussex is doing what she needs to do for her mom and everything, what she needs to do for her own well being, that we're right there with her. I mean, I feel like she's in the next room. We're right there with her. So it's good to know that you have that community that close to you. Not so close that you can see anybody's face or even know people's real names in most cases, but just that we're supporting a couple of people that are changing history. We're dragging people who deserve to be dragged, and and dare I say we're doing the Lord's work. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but I don't know if the Lord would drag the royal family the way I do. So could be fun, but I don't know if that's likely to happen. All right, so I'm going to move on. Um, that is the person in question right there. That's the person who mentioned the Georgina, Flordina, whatever. They all seem to have that same look, don't they? They all look like they just escaped from a women's prison. And even scarier, I think that she very well looked like she could have escaped from a men's prison, men or women's prison. She looked like she's a fugitive of justice. Yep. She looks like something that would cling on to the back of a laundry truck for freedom. Something that would crawl under the undercarriage of a laundry truck or garbage truck and then put her hooks, put them claws into that raw metal. No matter how hot it is and how many fumes they are, you just couldn't detach her from it if you tried. So, yeah, that looks like someone who has escaped from a women's correctional facility, having served 20 years of hard labor or whatever. But yeah, they all seem to have that look, don't they? Angry, um, mean, cruel. They all seem to have that look. Those supremacist um, feminists. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to get caught alone in a dark alley with that one. It just seems like every time you try to get up, she just pull you right back down. You could not escape. As a matter of fact, let me go to the next thing because I'm starting to scare myself. See how she just kind of looks right through you? She looks right through you. Yeah, that is frightful. It's not so often I see someone who has been photographed where it just seems like they cut right through you. No x-ray, no CAT scan and all that kind of stuff. She see right through you. Scary. So scary. What a missed opportunity. I got the nerves to be posing, sitting up there posing like she's all that, ain't she? She's sitting up there posing like she's Tyra Banks or something. She's sitting up there with her with her game face on like she's mm, I don't know, like she's oh gosh, who am I thinking of? But yeah, one of those America's Next Models or something. Or is it the UK's top model? You can't tell her nothing, honey. It's like somebody put lipstick on Fred Flintstone and just said, listen, I want you to look at the camera, lick your lips, make love to that camera. There you go. There you go, Fred. All righty, Freddie Flintstone. Sashay. Now drop your shoulder. There you go. Remember Fred Flintstone's mother in law? I always wondered whatever happened to Fred Flintstone's mother in law. I think I just found her. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that I've just found Fred Flintstone's mother in law. Now, even though she was a cartoon, I mean, you got to admit, I have some compelling evidence. She is barefoot and she is sitting on a loincloth. So I believe, I am of the opinion that that is Fred Flintstone's mother in law. Yabba dabba doo. And until I know better, until someone can prove otherwise, I insist that that is Fred Flintstone's mother in law. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. They're a modern Stone Age family. Okay, next. GB News panelist Narinda Ka 51. She's 51. Gosh, she's beautiful. She's 51? I had no idea. She's beautiful. Are they sure she's 51?
Good morning, guys. I just thought I'd do a quick video instead of tweet after tweet because it becomes pretty ridiculous, as if it wasn't.
Wow. And that looks like very minimal makeup there. Isn't that something? Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Okay. I didn't know she was 51. So, the very wise observations of Glow. Glow says double standard of white supremacy British media is astonishingly blatant. They make a story out of a commentator saying that Kate Middleton had aged a lot, as if this is capital offense. Yet they specifically hire a team of hate for profit writers to provide round the clock abuse articles to incite hate against the other Duchess of Mixed Heritage. If Meghan had implied she had cancer and taken 6 months off with a TV production to announce she finished treatment, only for it to have actually been precancerous cells which were removed, they would be calling for a public flogging. And it would be front page outrage news. With Kate, it's nothing. In fact, she gets a pat on the back. Yeah, that's right. Remember, they said she's brave. She's not a mere mortal. She's no mere mortal or whatever. Yeah, that is so true. That is the truth. If it was Meghan, it would be round the clock coverage. But for Catherine, it's a pat on the back. As a matter of fact, she'll be regaled as a hero. Right? Even if they could prove that she knowingly said something that was untrue, there will be no punishment. Remember, Will and Kate are not allowed to fail. William in particular. Palace confirms Kate Middleton is not undergoing cancer treatment. Now, remember, that's how I started this whole thing, by declaring that there is no cancer treatment. And I'm going to end it the same way. There is no cancer treatment for Kate. I took them at their word on the 17th of January. That is what the palace said, and that's exactly the way it was. Everything else in between, well, you all have to decide what it was. But I think we all know. Conspiracies run wild as it's reported Kate never had cancer. Now, this is the Daily Beast. This is the Daily Beast. A vicious attack on the Princess of Wales have resumed over a report by a hugely experienced and respected journalist. You guys, this is really just as big as Charles and William. This is just as big. And what will come of it? What will come of it? Because if it is proven that the palace lied about this, that all of this anger towards Stephen Colbert and that Kardashian girl and all of the won't you apologize now? Now you're going to say you're sorry? Remember that? And just think, all these months, people have been saying, I don't believe she has cancer. I bet she didn't have cancer. People have been saying it. Kate sat on that bench looking like Renaissance Jesus. She sat on that bench. There was no camera crew accredited with that production. BBC was said to have filmed it because they needed someone with credibility to throw out there. But no individual will admit to having recorded that video. We're not even sure that it's not a green screen. The light is rather strange and artificial looking. If it's true that that was some kind of AI production, now it makes more sense. This is huge. This is huge. But she's protected by her privilege, her rich privilege, her white privilege, her invisible contract privilege. She will be protected. Unless they're going to use this as leverage to get her out of the family, unless they want people to know about it. Almost like a setup. But I don't know so much about what the possible surgery could have been, but it sounds like a surgery that lots of women have far more often than most people realize. And I guess if she starts growing a mustache, we'll know. But if her voice suddenly starts getting deep, if they try to solicit her to be the voice of Darth Vader in the next prequel, then we'll know. We will guess by the hair of her chinny chin chin. All of them. So, too much. Was that too much? Let me know. I'm just asking for a friend. Was that too much? I'm just asking. But well, look at it like this. William rather fancies a beard anyway. Now he can get everything he wants. One-stop shopping. Yep. One-stop shopping. Oh boy. Um oh, Proud Mary. Let me see here. Tom Sykes said he spoke with a doctor who made it clear that precancerous and cancer are not interchangeable. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Well, well, I tell you, there's a lot of inconsistencies. Okay. Doctor said either you have cancer or you don't. Precancer is not cancer. This is Tom Sykes, who's pretty much carries water for KP. Well, thank you so much for sharing that because I hadn't actually looked at the article yet. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, I think if that is the case, this is huge. If it is found out that they have misled the public, this is a mess. If we find out the public has been misled, did not want to disclose what type of cancer it was. They refused to do that. And maybe the reason why they could not disclose it is because it was never there in the first place. Wouldn't that be a kick if it was never there in the first place? Oh, this is the article. I forgot I put it on here. Online again after a report of a respected and accredited royal reporter suggested that the Princess of Wales had never had cancer, but was instead found to have precancerous cells. Vicious rumors per, perpetrated by online trolls alleging Kate had either faked or exaggerated her cancer to cover up personal difficulties have been turbocharged by the claims. Okay. Let me see. Oh, you didn't disappear for 6 months, Beverly Jackson? Because you know you were supposed to run in and out of the farmer's market or have somebody pretend to be you. You were supposed to be riding in an Audi with five wheels next to someone that's supposed to be your mom. What else were you supposed to do? You were supposed to begrudgingly go to the Troop in the Colors, and then when it was necessary, you could actually smile and prance around the Wimbledon, flirting with Roger Federer. You know you were supposed to do that. So, yeah, those are some of your options. That is some of your options when that happens. Okay. Now, gradual return to public duties means returning from doing nothing to doing almost nothing. Journalists really are doing the country a disservice with their royal reporting. And he's making reference to Princess of Wales joins the other royals at Cenotaph for Remembrance Sunday service. The event makes a significant step in Kate's gradual return to public duties following her cancer diagnosis. See how weird it is? Now, am I supposed, is that true that there was a cancer diagnosis or was it not? This is going to drive me crazy. So, those types of things that they've said before, now it's just not true, period, according to that medical person that said it didn't make sense. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. This really does stink. Uh, oh, yes, from a catalog, right? Okay. Shameful piece of PR by BBC News. No criticism or questioning, just, ooh, isn't this interesting? William Small R royalty means doing less while costing us more. And he's already does little. Got it. Graham is really going there. And so, as far as Remembrance Day is concerned, I want you to picture any of those royals, the past, present, and future royals. Picture any of them out in the field of battle. In this case, I believe that is World War One. Imagine how useful Charles, um, George, or even what's his name, William. Just imagine how useful they would have been um, over in Normandy or wherever they were at that time during World War One. Imagine how useful they would be. About as useful as a glass hammer. Yep, about as useful as a glass hammer. Oh, got a soundbite for you. Got a soundbite for you. You may have heard this one before, but I love this guy. He is so good. Does he love me? I want to know. How can I tell if you love me so? In your Okay, here we go.
Absolutely nobody. The royal family are a bunch of parasites because King Charles and Prince William's private estates are taking millions of pounds from public bodies, including the NHS, the armed forces, charities, and schools, whilst not paying taxes on it. The numbers associated with some of these deals are completely insane. £37.5 million agreement to lease Dartmoor Prison, a building that is empty. £11.4 million deal to rent a London warehouse over 15 years to store ambulances. The Royal Navy being charged to dock their ships and refuel. Schools being charged of education. I mean, these are the deals the royal family are okay with us knowing about. You can only imagine how bad some of them are. Now, people can downplay this and say, oh, shock, horror, man leases land that he owns. But to be clear, this is land that was largely stolen off of people during feudal times by medieval monarchs that is being used to line the pockets of incredibly wealthy people who are leasing it to public services that they claim to love and cherish. And it's not a surprise as to why when they're being paid millions of pounds of taxpayer money. Now, the reason the duchies aren't paying any tax on these deals is because they consider themselves to be private estates, and therefore William and Charles aren't paying corporation tax, nor do they pay capital gains tax on the assets that they sell, yet they act in a commercial manner. If they want to be both private and commercial, then they should be paying taxes just like everybody else. And as we all know, Charles and William talk a good talk when it comes to environmental concerns, yet their actions couldn't be further from their words, because they're more than happy to lease their land to mining companies that will cause all manner of environmental damage. And Prince William, Mr. I Want to End Homelessness, owns 76 properties that fail to meet minimum legal energy efficiency standards for landlords. Some of his tenants are at risk of fuel poverty, and they are living in hard-to-heat homes riddled with damp and black mold. The future King of England is a slumlord. But remember, in some people's heads, all of this is okay because tourists will look at the outside of Buckingham Palace and something Meghan Markle. It is completely absurd that in the year 2024, we can call ourselves a progressive nation when we continue to uphold outdated practices like the monarchy. These people with fortunes in the billions are ripping us off during a cost of living crisis. Why do we continue to fund them?
Wait, I got it. Okay. He really said it. And something, Meghan Markle. Ain't that the truth? It's always something, Meghan Markle. Yep. He said what he said. All righty then. Yeah, I'm almost done. That is Morgan Freeman. Morgan Fairchild Freeman. I just randomly came across a picture. I don't know when her birthday is, but she still looks good. Morgan Fairchild, 74 years old, still looks good. I saw her on some show one day, and I think she was a panelist in some kind of discussion, and I didn't know who she was. I saw her, and I'm like, wow, I think I know who that is, but no, that can't be her because she's probably much older. Well, it was her. And well, she was looking amazing like she always looks. So I don't know what she does or how she got there, but always a beauty. So 74 years old. Wow. Just wow. And the vice president says on Veterans Day, we honor the brave Americans who have fought to fulfill and defend the promise of America. We thank you for your service. Our nation is safer and stronger because of you. Well, thank you, Madam Vice President. And with that, you guys, I am done. I don't think I'm coming back later. At least I don't think so. But unless something really interesting happens, I don't think I will. But it's been a pleasure. I have thoroughly enjoyed today. And again, I hope that everybody's nerves recovers from the election day, and that you'll take care of yourself and make sure that you're not overextending yourselves trying to, I suppose, be heroic or that kind of thing. I just hope you're all taking care of yourselves. So, uh, oh, why am I giving y'all a blank screen to look at? Let me find something to take the blank screen away. Well, did I stop oh, I did not stop it. Now I stopped it. Oh, well. Well, that just gives me a chance to get back to where it was. So we're done. Thank you all very much. Happy Veterans Day. Um, oh, sure thing. I'm glad to be able to do it. Yep, I was up and everything and moving about, so I said, well, maybe sooner rather than later. So here we are. How long was I on? 2.5 hours, not bad. Lavender, thank you so much. Okay, let me see here. Oh, thank you, Cookies and Cream. What does that mean? See you all around the YouTube halls. Oh, okay, got it. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. I never knew that song. I don't think so. I think I'm done. So that would be morning for you, but night for me. But no, I don't think I'm gonna come back on later. Um, Try to come on again early tomorrow. How about that? Yeah, but if yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Good night, Kim Peaches. Okay, I am going to say good night. Good night, Soul Brother, Mary H, Cookies and Cream, Kim Peaches, Marshar, Joy Amore, Connie Balmer, Lady Metatrons, Poliver Girl, Pam Porter. Didn't know you were here. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Good night. VS Speaks Royally. Gwen Daniels. All right. That's a wrap. Okay. Thank you, moderators.